Picture this. The streets are buzzing, social media is on fire, and once again, Jaguar Wright just dropped another bombshell. This time, she's not just exposing rumors, she's revealing how 50 Cent's secret warning to Chrissy Lampkin didn't just shake things up, it completely destroyed Jim Jones' reputation in the game. See, for months people thought 50 was just trolling, throwing shade like he always does. But according to Jaguar, what 50 said behind closed doors was no joke. He tried to warn Chrissy about what was really going on with Jim. The business moves, the hidden alliances, the industry ties nobody wanted to talk about. But Chrissy, she didn't take it seriously. And now it's all coming out. Jaguar claims this warning wasn't just about love or loyalty, it was about survival. She says 50 knew what kind of heat was building around Jim. And when Chrissy ignored that message, the fallout hit harder than anyone expected. Now insiders are whispering that this warning might have been the very thing that exposed Jim's weakest link, his public image. So what exactly did 50 say that Jaguar's now confirming? And how did it end up tearing apart everything? Jim Jones built for years. Because one thing's clear, the truth is no longer hidden. Welcome to the storm, because Jaguar just made it personal. When Jaguar Wright speaks, the internet listens half in disbelief, half in shock. Over the years, she's built a reputation for calling out powerful people and pulling receipts from places nobody even knew existed. And now, she's turned her attention once again toward the tangled world of Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, adding 50 Cent's name right into the fire. According to Jaguar, the story didn't start with drama, started with a warning. She says that long before things between Jim and Chrissy began to crumble publicly, 50 Cent tried to reach out behind the scenes. It wasn't a social media jab or a quick Instagram comment. It was, as Jaguar tells it, a genuine heads up to Chrissy that something around Jim's circle wasn't what it seemed. Back then, people brushed it off. 50 has always been outspoken if. As Jaguar talked, the live chat blew up with comments, some defending Jim, others saying the pieces finally made sense. Listeners pulled up old headlines, the rumored label disputes, the missed appearances, the quiet tension within his circle. It felt like the past 5 years of gossip suddenly snapped into one clear storyline. According to Jaguar, a real explosion happened, not in public, but in private. She claimed that people close to Jim started distancing themselves. Quietly, no drama, no statements, just silence. That's how you know something's off, she said. When folks who used to post you every week stop tagging you altogether. She described it as the industry freeze-out, the kind that doesn't trend but kills momentum faster than any scandal. And once that started, 50 Cent's old warning began to sound less like shade and more like prophecy. At one point, Jaguar dropped what she called her receipts. She held up screenshots of old social media posts, cryptic messages and photos from events that hinted at broken friendships. She didn't claim they proved guilt. She said they proved distance. The difference matters. Because her focus wasn't on crimes or conspiracies, it was on the energy shift. Everyone could see, but nobody wanted to acknowledge. She went further, saying that even Chrissy felt the fallout. Support that once came easily, brand deals, media features started slowing down. Jaguar framed it as collateral damage. When your partner's image starts cracking, the mirror breaks on both sides. That statement hit hard. People in the comments started posting side-by-side clips of Chrissy's older interviews, contrasting her confident tone then with her guarded tone now. Whether coincidence or not, the shift was visible through it all. Jaguar kept circling back to one theme: the cost of ignoring wisdom. She said 50 Cent's entire career has been built on learning from mistakes, both his and others. So when he offered that advice, it wasn't arrogance, it was foresight. In her view, Jim Jones took it as a challenge instead of a warning. And the result was the slow erosion of everything that made his name golden. Then came the emotional punch. Jaguar said she doesn't take joy in exposing people. She does it because she's seen too many careers end in silence. She recalled seeing artists lose everything while their friends pretended not to notice. "If telling the truth makes me the villain, fine," she said. "But at least the truth's out before another life gets chewed up by the same system." As her live stream continued, other insiders chimed in through comments anonymous usernames, hinting at connections. They didn't spill details, but their subtle confirmations fueled the fire. By the next morning, blogs had clipped every second of Jaguar's monologue, spinning headlines that spread across social media. Jaguar Wright says 50 Cent tried to save Chrissy before everything fell apart. Insiders backed Jaguar's claims about Jim's industry fallout. And just like that, the narrative changed again. It wasn't Jim versus 50 anymore. It was 50 warned them, and they didn't listen. In internet culture, perception is reality, and once that reality takes shape, even silence can't fight it. Toward the end of her talk, Jaguar gave one last statement that sealed the message. Reputation isn't destroyed overnight. It's destroyed the moment people stop believing your story and start believing someone else's. Those words echoed across TikTok clips and reaction channels all week. Viewers debated whether she was exaggerating or simply saying what others were too afraid to confirm. Either way, the discussion pushed the old warning back into the spotlight and turned 50 Cent's supposed private conversation into public legend. By the time Jaguar signed off, her comment section was a battlefield, half sympathy, half chaos. Some thanked her for keeping it real. Others accused her of stirring the pot. But one thing was clear. She'd reignited a conversation that had nearly died out. And in today's algorithm-driven world, that conversation is the real power. Every new theory, every reaction video, every headline saying it's all coming out now adds to the same narrative, one that may not destroy careers instantly, but leaves a permanent mark, as Jaguar herself put it before logging off. The warning was never the problem. The problem was nobody listened. By the time Jaguar Wright's revelations hit their third day online, the industry couldn't ignore it anymore. The whispers had turned into headlines, and the headlines had turned into chaos. You could feel it. It's the same quiet tension that always follows when an old story suddenly gets a new twist. 50 Cent himself didn't say much, but he didn't have to. That's the power of silence when your reputation speaks louder than your words. Instead of clapping back, he started dropping his signature-coded posts, short, sarcastic captions that seemed innocent on the surface, but carried that "I told you so" energy. Every time he posted, fans flooded the comments, tagging Jim Jones, asking what really happened. The damage was already done. Jaguar Wright's claim that 50 had warned Chrissy years ago became a viral talking point across every blog and podcast. YouTubers broke down timelines, dissecting old clips, looking for the exact moment that trust started cracking. And what they found wasn't one big betrayal, it was the slow erosion of loyalty, opportunity, and control. According to Jaguar, the real turning point wasn't public at all. She said after that warning, certain doors in the industry stopped opening for Jim. People didn't blacklist him, they just stopped calling. That's how the game really works. You don't get canceled. You just fade out of the important rooms. She even hinted that some executives quietly sided with 50. Believing that his warning was more than gossip, it was strategy. When a man like 50 tells you to move smart, you listen, she said. Because he's not talking from hate. He's talking from history. Meanwhile, Jim tried to keep things business as usual. He continued performing, giving interviews, acting unbothered, but even his loyal fans could sense something was off. The tone changed. The once fiery confidence looked more like guarded pride. Every word was measured, every answer filtered. Jaguar called that damage control mode. She said it's the stage where public figures still think they can outtalk the truth. But by then, the truth already has a life of its own. She explained that when reputations crack in hip-hop, it's not just about one feud, it's about credibility. That's the currency that keeps you booked, respected, and trusted. And when that fades, your name becomes a question mark instead of a brand. Then Jaguar dropped something that really shook people. She said, "50's warning." Wasn't just personal, it was also professional. Apparently, he had told Chrissy to protect her brand, not just her heart. In Jaguar's words, he saw the storm coming. He knew Jim was surrounded by too many yes men, too many people feeding off his spotlight. That's never sustainable. That statement flipped the entire narrative. Fans started seeing the situation less like drama and more like a lesson. Reaction videos popped up everywhere. People saying this is what happens when ego gets louder than wisdom. And through all of it, Jaguar kept her tone calm. She didn't laugh, she didn't gloat, she just kept repeating. The truth always circles back. She made it clear she wasn't trying to destroy anyone. She was trying to show what happens when you ignore good. Advice in a dangerous business. But still, that didn't stop the backlash. Some accused Jaguar of digging up old pain for clout. Others praised her for pulling back the curtain. What made her version believable wasn't the shock, it was the consistency. Everything she said lined up with small things fans had already noticed for years. Soon, other voices began weighing in. Old collaborators, producers, and industry insiders started posting vague tweets. Some of y'all should have listened. Not everyone hating is lying. These cryptic messages fueled the fire even more. By now, the ripple effect was undeniable. People revisited old interviews where Jim dismissed rumors about tension, and suddenly, those clips looked different. Listeners heard hesitation in his voice that they'd never noticed before. Jaguar pointed that out too. "Energy doesn't lie," she said. "You can tell when somebody's carrying a secret that's heavier than their words." That line went viral. TikTok used it in reaction edits. Twitter made it a, quote, post trend. Suddenly, it wasn't just a story about Jim Jones anymore. It became a metaphor. It's a warning to every artist in the industry about the cost of ignoring the truth. And here's where things got deeper. Jaguar revealed that 50 Cent's warning wasn't meant to destroy Jim. It was meant to save him. The destruction came from what followed: the pride, the denial, the refusal to see the writing on the wall. In other words, the downfall wasn't 50's fault. It was Jim's reaction to it. That twist changed everything. Even fans who had been defending Jim started admitting the lesson hit hard. Sometimes the real problem isn't the person who exposes the truth, it's the person who hides from it. Then, in one final bombshell moment, Jaguar ended her livestream saying, "The warning wasn't an attack, it was a mirror." But Jim looked away instead of fixing what he saw. That line echoed through every recap video, every podcast highlight, every blog headline. It was poetic, chilling, and brutally honest. From that point, the conversation shifted again. People started looking beyond the feud and asking bigger questions. Why do artists in the industry ignore red flags? Why does pride destroy more careers than talent ever builds? Jaguar didn't have to answer. Her entire message was the answer. Her entire message was the answer. By the end of the week, the internet had done what it always does. It turned the story into a cycle. Reactions, memes, think pieces, debates. But one thing never changed. Everyone agreed 50 Cent's warning aged like prophecy. Jim Jones hasn't publicly addressed Jaguar's statements yet, and maybe he never will. But silence, as Jaguar reminded viewers, speaks louder than any denial. Because in Hollywood and hip-hop alike, when someone says it's all coming out now, it means one thing: the truth has already left the room, and it's never going back in. And that's the story Jaguar Wright just reignited: a mix of loyalty, ego, and truth that refuses to stay buried. So what do you think, fam? Was 50 Cent really trying to warn Jim Jones? Or was it all just another power move? Drop your thoughts below because of this story. It's far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next deep dive. Because in this industry, the next truth bomb is always closer than you think.